Hey guys, happy Wednesday. Thanks for stopping by for another episode here at alliseeisW. In today's video, we'll be talking about latest updates with ETH, as well as covering updates with BitMine Emerging Technology, ticker BMNR, led by Chairman Tom Lee, what the upside is. We'll also be doing technical analysis, share with you price predictions of BMNR and ETH in this bull market of Q4. Now, if you're wondering how high it can go, if you're bullish with BMNR and ETH, I would really appreciate you hitting the like, subscribing to this channel for more related content, and you don't want to miss it, where I will be playing an epic video clip of Tom Lee. Let's begin, guys. Ryan posts about just the overall S&P market. He says this was the second best September for the S&P 500 going back 27 years. That just tells you something, right? Most people, think, oh, we're in September, we're going to have huge downside. I kept talking about this. Just because the trend shows that doesn't necessarily mean 2025 September is going to be bad. We're in a golden era. We're having many new changes. In fact, we had our big correction back in, Q1 of 2025, and it's only going to be up from here. So definitely bullish movements as we transition to Q4 with September, October coming into play. Ryan also posts, S&P 500 up 13.7% year to date heading into Q4. Best since last year, up 10% year to date headed into Q4. October down on average and up only 50% of the time, but Q4 higher 14 out of the past 15 times. That tells you something. I mean, just look at this year to date return end of September. I mean, when you just look at this just tells us that, we're going to see some positive upward movements. What is October going to return in terms of just S&P returns as well as Q4 returns? I think we're going to see something very bullish, at least for the crypto market. We're going to see things pump. Even with this government shutdown, we're seeing cryptos move immediately. Income Sharks posts about ETH. The goal is to keep hitting higher targets at 1,500. Many laughed at 5,000 targets being possible. 6,900 isn't that far away. So we're seeing this big base being built here. And during the time when we saw, ETH at like 1,500, everyone thought it was the end of the world. Then next thing you know, we continue to see it climb. It's great to see consolidation since August, hovering around this 4,000 up to the 4,009 run up top. We haven't even got to 2021 all-time high yet. In fact, we broke it recently by just a small margin, but that just tells you something. I mean, just getting to the level of what we were at 4 years ago, that shows that there's huge upside with Ethereum, which is why we're seeing potential for it to get, above 7,000, 8,000 in the year 2025. Merlin the trader posts ETH just drew the holy grail, 3 years of chop erased in one breakout, measured move points vertical. Ethereum's next stop, 5 digits, don't fade the script. So, similar to what Tom Lee has been saying, he could very well see Ethereum break out to 12 to 15,000. That's in the next 3 months. That tells you that there's huge bullish opportunity. We're seeing a long cup and handle formation, just looking at it from a long-term perspective. And it may be that we see Ethereum break out of this cup and handle formation and start skyrocketing. Kaz posts Wyckoff accumulation is now entering its final phase. This is the phase where a parabolic run happens. It won't start immediately, but it will happen within 3 to 4 weeks. In my opinion, ETH will make a strong support around 4,000 and then pull an 80 to 100% rally in 6 to 8 weeks. Stay leveraged. Why is that the case? We got, prior resistance now at the support of 4,000. It's going to be up from here. Bart posts about BMNR current holders that we see as of, just August 14. I mean, just look at this. You got ARK Investments, huge position, millions of shares, Founders Fund Growth, Mosaics, FMR, Charles Schwab, BlackRock loading the boat. There's just so many companies, financial institutions buying millions of shares of, just BMNR. Charles Schwab, Sumitomo, BlackRock, Fidelity adding 3 million shares. What does that mean? That's just huge upside. They believe in the use case of Ethereum tokenization is going to be, more and more commonly discussed, as well as bridging the gap between AI and Ethereum as we see the convergence between those two sectors. Tyler poses one of the best charts in finance is the Ethereum monthly. Andrew Kang will feel the next leg higher with his tiers on Twitter. So look at this monthly chart. I mean, just barely getting to the 2021 run up top. We have so much room for it to move up. I mean, it's just been getting beat on this resistance cup and handle formation. In my opinion, it's up from here. Compound interest enjoyer posts how Tom Lee just perfectly timed the market, nailed the dip, and bought $800 million of ETH in 24 hours. Fundstrat just perfectly timed the market via an RDO announced on Monday that brought in 365 million of proceeds from the sale of premium price shares of BMNR. Investors purchased 5 million plus shares of BMNR at $70 a share, a 14 premium to last Friday's closing PPS of $61. The price today, $50 per share at a 29% discount to the closing PPS of the offering. Why does this matter? It matters because Tom Lee saw what was happening. He saw the price of ETH, the price of BMNR succumbing to seasonal weakness we have come to expect in September. He acted with urgency, as any proficient business leader should, by getting this RDO inked, locking in a massive premium to the market price of BMNR, allowing them to aggressively buy the ETH dip. The implications of having this 365 million in premium price proceeds are huge when it comes to ETH per share growth, NAV expansion, and establishing the lowest cost basis on ETH as possible. To illustrate just how far they stretched this 365 million, consider the following. For the sake of this illustration, we will assume an ETH price of 4,000. With this 365 million from the RDO, BMNR was able to purchase 91,000 ETH. Well, what was the alternative? The alternative was relying solely on the ATM to access capital to buy more ETH. However, at BMNR share price of $50, your capital only goes 71% as far as it does when your shares are priced at 70 for the same number of shares sold at the market. Therefore, simple math tells us that 260 million divided by 4,000, 65,000 ETH, or 29% less ETH than BMNR was able to acquire by locking in proceeds from the sale of premium price shares at 70. Many people were shouting from the rooftops about how this was a terrible deal for shareholders, but when you take a look at what BMNR Fundstrat have been doing over the past 2 days, it all starts to become obvious that this was a calculated move to stack ETH as cheaply as possible and with as much capital as possible. That's exactly what this RDO provided. In short, Tom Lee just set the stage for ETH per share to explode on the next leg up by making an executive call to do this deal, effectively timing the market and buying when everyone else is too scared to act. This is what you should want in a leader. Fundstrat's conviction is clear as day, and his 800 million ETH shopping spree this week would not be possible without the RDO. My opinion is that we will be able to thank him for what he's done in the short few months. We're going higher, BMNR. So huge upside following this strategy, kind of like what Warren Buffett says, buy when others are fearful. That's what Tom Lee did. He capitalized on the dips. Eric Trump continues to say, buy the dips. Tom Lee did the same. BitMine posts BitMine provided the latest holdings updates for September 29, 11.6 billion in total crypto plus moonshots, 2.6 million ETH tokens at 4,141 per tokens. They're already up in the positive with the average cost. 192 Bitcoins they also hold on to. 157 million 8co stake, ORBS stock. Unencumbered cash of 36 million. That tells you something. Just recently, past week, they acquired 234,850 ETH tokens, currently reigns as the largest ETH treasury and the second largest crypto treasury, only behind MSTR. Tom Lee following the Michael Saylor playbook. But when you compare the two, BMNR has been aggressively stacking Ethereum at a level that we have not seen before, even at the rate that's much faster than MSTR. Currently, market cap right now, second largest crypto treasury in the world. They will eventually increase their market cap. It's only a matter of time when we will see this rate of growth, continue to grow. Professor poses, when moon, just tell me already for BMNR. I mean, we see this pennant flag, drawn out, and it's only a matter of time. We're seeing higher lows. Eventually, we're just going to see the next leg up. Pella Swing posts, BMNR is about to go nuclear. Thank you for your attention with this matter. Pennant flag being drawn out. You can only hold down a stock for so long, and with crypto pumping, BMNR is going to follow as well. Let's take a look at technical analysis. So I have the daily charts candles showing we saw oversold signals back in September when it was $42. Had a nice run up to like, $65, pulled back, establishing, a lower low around $50 now. I think where we are at 52, this is looking very bullish. We continue to see it trend up over time. And, just because we're seeing this downward pressure since September 19th, the fact that now we're in Q4, October timeframe with crypto pumping, we're seeing Ethereum make a run. I anticipate that we're going to see that next leg up, get above 77, 88, $80 range, have it hover around there prior, have it touch that resistance point, establish a new support level, and then it's going to be a next leg up. I see 2025 to be a year where we're going to see BMNR get to triple digits, not if, it's going to be when. And when we look at just other technical indicators here, just with, the daily candle chart, good news is, let's take a look at another view. Daily candle chart with BMNR. Obviously, price is above this black line, which is the 200-day moving average. Also, current price above the 50-day moving average in pink, with the 50-day moving average at $47. Definitely good news. We bounced off of that since last week to now. And where we are right now, right at that 10-day moving average, $54, where the current price today ended at $52. I think, end of this week, we're going to be well above, the 10, 50, 200-day moving average. RSI is definitely just in the equilibrium phase. Only a matter of time where we're going to see that relative strength kick into gears. We're going to see it run back up, above 70-80 ratio. And that's at that point where we're going to see some nice, healthy run up tops for BMNR.
Did some research from Sean Farrell, who's our head of digital asset strategy, and he put out a presentation about Ethereum today. So he thinks the ratio of Ethereum to Bitcoin could go back to its 2021 highs, which is about 0.14. That would value Ethereum today at around 16,000, and it's currently 3,700. So he's just saying Bitcoin ratio versus ETH, let's get back to where it was 5 years ago, which makes sense because it's a better story today than it was in 2021. And that gets you, close to 16,000.
So one last question on all of this. Taking a step back, you're a retail investor, you're looking at your portfolio. What do you want your holdings to look like potentially? And I realize it's individualized for everybody, but what do you want your holdings to look like? Crypto versus stocks versus other things?
Well, in 2017, when we first read about Bitcoin, we recommended 1% to 2% into crypto. That has been 100x for our clients. Today, we're saying if you're starting, 5 to 10% is appropriate for the median investor. If someone's younger and they can let time work in their favor, then 20% or more makes sense. That's consistent with the BlackRock mathematical calculations. And again, I think there's still a lot of upside. Just keep in mind, Wall Street is running into the blockchain right now.
Well, Tomlee, a fun strat. Great to have you here on set.
Yeah,
Thank
great
you.
to see you, Morgan.
So there you have it. You heard it from Tomlee. He's saying Wall Street is on the blockchain right now. That sums it up. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to hit the like, subscribe. Thanks for watching, guys.